Talking of surprises, we'll move on and talk about Manchester City, because looking at their ongoing lawsuit, Keith, do we think that the current APT rules could be scrapped, or actually could Premier League clubs vote on them if the ongoing commission is deemed unlawful?
Well, yeah, I mean, the commission, while it may make a statement on this, it would be up to the clubs to decide, as you say, and vote on that. The APT rules make sense, and so there may be some tweaking required around them. But overall, I think it makes sense. But if they are defeated, then of course it means open season and no reason for rules at all. And I don't think the Premier League clubs, the 20 clubs, do want a complete free-for-all and a Wild West situation. So I've got to believe that there's going to be some type of regulation or tweaking of the regulation rather than an overall cancellation of the whole thing.
And in terms of the ongoing commission, Keith, I know you've said no news is good news from Everton's point of view, but what does it mean for this case? And are you surprised there's been no announcement at all of what's going on or a predicted timeline?
No, it's been deadly silent, as we all know. We thought last week there might have been something bubbling away behind the scenes. That may still be the case. It's obviously a standoff, high noon, and you got the two barrister gunslingers, facing each other now, and we'll have to see what happens. That's basically the situation. It could be a game of chicken and see who's going to blink first. But certainly it's all boiling up. And what's going on behind the scenes? Normally there's something going on behind the scenes when there's a quiet period like this. And I'm hoping that we can all try and find a resolution if possible.
If you had to make a prediction, Keith, what do you think is going on and what is the likely outcome of this case?
That would be a difficult one. I think that the Premier League have got themselves in a situation now, having gone after Everton and Forest on different charges. They couldn't be seen to back down on the City charges now. And I don't think the football world would allow that. And I think the Premier League itself would be almost finished with sporting integrity if it did. So I think there's going to have to be some sort of sanction on City in some way, but also something that City will think is better than they would have got if they'd gone through the whole court case. So whether that's points deductions again, whether that, which doesn't seem fair compared to the sanctions for the 115 charges compared to Everton and Forest, but it could be points, it could be transfer bans for a couple of seasons. There's got to be something that's still seen as a genuine sanction. So I think it's getting to that fine point where they both feel they've had a win is what's going to try and solve it, as always.
And in terms of some transfer news, Keith, there's an ongoing rumour mill around Julian Alvarez's future at the club. Do you think an exit could be on the cards? And what's his valuation in today's market?
Yeah, I think he will be going. I think mentally, I think it seems to be that he's just ready for a change. And I don't know what's going on with him personally, but it does seem that he needs a shift. I think that would be good for him. I don't know Alvarez. I mean, I'm thinking maybe 30, 35 is where the sort of category I'd have put him in. But I don't know the actual terms on his contract, but I think he hasn't got long left. So I think that's the sort of number I'd be looking at. But yeah, I think I'd expect to see him moving.
And in terms of Ederson, we've discussed him in previous weeks, but it looks like actually City can now offer him a huge pay rise actually to keep him on at the club. What do you make of that? And is, Ortega, the backup goalkeeper, is he good enough to be the number one? What will Pep's thinking be around the Ederson deal at the moment?
Well, it's interesting how, Saudi is now actually managing to get into Pep's mind a little bit in terms of other, players having options, which is incredible, really, that they have that problem to contend with. So I think Ederson will end up staying. I don't think he will take the Saudi deal. But then again, it seems to fluctuate on a daily basis. If you're being offered such a huge amount of money, then of course it's going to weigh on your mind. You've got your family saying, come on, let's think about this. Your agent also pushing you. Yet for football reasons, he may want to remain loyal to Pep. And it's going to be a difficult decision. But I think possibly in the end, he may end up staying. I think if City were even able to match that sort of Saudi deal, I think that may be enough to just tip him over the line. But it really depends how much Pep wants to keep him. And also, as you say, what has he got in reserve that could step up? Ortega has shown when he's had to that he can do it. So, City are very clever about squad depth. And so, again, it's going to be one of those fine line decisions that is made on personal reasons, I think, rather than football.
And there's some talk, Keith, that Pep Guardiola may be offered a new contract as well to extend his stay at the Etihad. What do you make of that? And have you got any insight into that, please? Do you feel that he could extend and stay sort of even longer than expected?
I don't have any insight as such, but my opinion would be that I think Pep may be thinking twice about this. I think he's starting to feel that, like Klopp, he's done a good innings at City, and I think he may feel it's sort of time to move on. I know that would be a difficult decision for him, but I do feel that he's getting to that stage, and I think he may need a fresh challenge in some way or some time off, as Klopp has done. So, look, he'll be dangled in front of him. Will be all sorts of things. I mean, there are so many ways that you could try and value what Pep's contribution has been through the City Football Group. I mean, he has been the icon for the whole of Man City with his superb management skills. He has created the monster for them that has become the Man City growth train. And it's really down to him. Now, has he been valued as that significant part of that? Probably not in terms of his manager's salary. The impact that Pep has in terms of the whole image of City is something that's quite incredible. So, a manager is worth 15, 20 million for a top manager's salary. Is he worth 50, 100, 200 million? If you start to look at the value compared to players. So there may even be a very tough, commercial discussion going on between Pep saying, look, this is my true value. I do want more. And it's something that managers I've always felt have not really had the benefit of for many years. The top managers are only just starting to come up towards meeting the player salaries. And it's something that's always been a little bit baffling. If you're the most important, person in the club, why are you not paid as such? I mean, even chief executives like me, we're never the top earner in the club, that's for sure. Way behind the players as well. Yet we have a huge impact on what the club does. And so there's not going to be a reordering of this sort of order, I'm sure, anytime soon. But certainly somebody like Pep could lead the charge of managers saying, hang on, what is my real value? And that's a big discussion that could be had.